Hey everybody, this is Perch. Every now and then I reach out and I talk to other YouTubers, and there's a little chat will happen. Friends with a few people, we talk, and what's always funny is when we talk about something, we kind of get an idea going. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do a video on that, and I do. I do a video on it, but then it goes into the backlog, and like 10 days later, it comes out, and then the other person in that span, the other person I was talking to, does their video, and then there's this weird gap. But if you pay close attention to the various, you can tell exactly who I'm talking to just based on the release and the cadence of some of these videos. But anyway, hey, I've got a question here, and this is a short question, but it's one that you might have wondered about. Okay, and it basically here you go. Hey Perch, looking at the comic numbers, I agree. A lot of the comics are in a pretty sad state right now in terms of what they're selling. But one company that doesn't seem to have that problem is Boom. Boom, on a regular basis, announces that they've sold 90 to 100,000 copies of a comic. But how can this be true? If you look at their numbers, even when they were still being reported accurately from Comic-Con, their numbers were much lower than that, in line with a normal indie book of 5 to 10,000 copies. So what happened with this version? Why do they have comics that sell 100,000 one month and 5,000 the next? Or is the 100,000 actually a lie? After all, we don't have any proof or receipts. We just have the word of the company that's telling us this. And of course they are motivated to put as big a numbers up as possible. What do you think? All right. So let me say this, certainly there's a possibility that people are lying and the company's not actually, making those numbers, but I don't think so. I think in general, when, the numbers that are being reported, the 100,000 copies sold, etc., I think that is truthful. I think they are selling those comics. Then your question becomes the right one, like what's going on? How is this selling 100,000 copies one day? And then, going to a normal indie run the next. And hell, if Boom was regularly putting out 100,000 copy runs of things, then, shouldn't they be like bumping up to take the number 2 spot in comics, or maybe even the number 1 spot, given kind of more recent developments with Marvel? Like, hey, as we hear all this stuff about how the comic industry is dying, if you've got an indie company that's able to hit $100,000 or 100,000 copy marks on books, then that lends a lot of credibility to the fact that comics are doing pretty okay. So what's the deal with these numbers? Well, the answer kind of was in your question. These are momentary events. They're not sustainable. They don't happen for a run. You'll see 100,000 copies reported for an issue, and usually that issue is a number 1, or usually it's an anniversary or there's some specialness to it. Or there's variant covers or some other pieces to it. But the real reason it's getting to 100,000 is that it's doing something that actually is a huge clue and a wake-up call to the industry. It's selling many of those copies, the vast majority of them, to places outside the direct market. So what happens, and you saw this with Star Wars back in the day, Star Wars put up a huge number, Star Wars number 1, several years ago. If you look at like the best-selling modern comics, Star Wars number 1 is up there, and people are like, look at the power of this comic. What they don't say in the article, so I went and looked, earlier, and CBR and several others that were kind of gloating over the fact that Star Wars made all this money. What they don't tell you in that article is that a large portion of those orders were for Loot Crate and were for blind boxes, where companies said, we need to put something in the box. Let's put a copy of Star Wars number 1 in there. And, we need, in order to fulfill our entire box format, we're going to need, 75,000 copies. And so they get made for that purpose. And there's a lot of those situations going on. They are, basically licensing and promotion deals. And, it's the publisher, they're thrilled by it. Now, note, and this is always where the numbers are a little shielded, and in fairness, they should be. Those copies that get sold, it's not clear what kind of discounting was done. If a company is buying 50,000 comics at a time, they're certainly not paying the same as a direct market retailer is buying 10 copies. But regardless, unit sold is good. But the lesson there, the very, very clear lesson there is, hey, if you want to boost your numbers and you want to actually do some things that are good cross promotion and get more sales, go outside the direct market. Don't abandon the direct market. The direct market is still a vehicle for you to ship comics through, and I mean that's a store ready to do it. This is not a all or nothing approach. Absolutely keep supporting the direct market. However, also do more. And this is a part that I've used this example a lot with other retailers who get really pissy when these kinds of deals go down. They don't like it. They're like, comics should be reserved for us and us alone. Anytime like the deal with Walmart that went out where DC was pushing comics through there, all the retailers were all pissed about that. But if you look at the sales and you look at the impact of that, you see that the direct market copies after say Star Wars #1, #2, #3, you'll see that they sold better. They sold better than normal. There was still a drop, sure, when you got out of this giant one-time buy like you had for Star Wars #1 and several others, but it still helped the business. People came in and people kept buying. Usually in the comics, there's a, go find your local comic shop, and, people who get this in their blind box are like, wow, I like this Star Wars #1 issue. I got to go find #2. I guess I have to go to a comic shop to do that. There was a sales lift for these activities. It helped the direct market to market, promote, and go outside. But that's what's happening with Boom. And several of the others, I think there's been a few other companies that have had these big spikes in numbers. They're selling them into channels and locations, usually in bulk buys. These are not local comic shops who just one day woke up and said, instead of ordering 10 copies of this comic, I think I'll order 200. That's not at all how that worked. So, it is. To me, it's smart business. It's not cheating. It's not conning. I don't think it needs an asterisk by the the reporting of the number. It's fair business. I think the only people that need to clearly cite what's going on are these news reporters who like to use these huge numbers as a way to say, see, everything is fine in comics, ignoring month #2 when that $100,000 copy comic the next month sells 4,500. Nobody copies that. Nobody covers that drop. Bleeding Cool likes to do these articles. Bleeding Cool likes to do these little articles about comics are. Look at this, 100,000 guest comics are dying, huh? It's like, bro, check out the next issue. How's the next issue doing? Was there a drop? Huh? How about that? How about that? There was a drop. Who would have ever guessed? That would be good reporting. It would also just be good reporting to say, hey, look, here's a way to make money outside the direct market that then seems to have a positive impact for everyone, including the direct market. This seems like smart business. People should do that. That would also be good reporting. See, I mean, I don't think you should hide this. I don't think that these articles should be written like, comics really suck, and the only way they could sell is by getting 100,000 plus copies of a comic into a special location. Oh man, comics, they suck. No, I don't. That's not truthful or accurate either. I think that to me, it's a very clear message. That message, hey, you can sell more copies of comics if you go outside the direct market, and it helps everything. That's it. Pretty straightforward. I mean, it's like it's as if somebody's handing you the answer right there. I don't know why this bothers me so much, but it really does. It bothers me because every now and then comic companies stumble onto a good idea. They stumble onto smart business. They and what irritated me is when I was younger, I'm like, hey, look at this. They came up with a good business plan. This is awesome. People are thinking. As I've gotten older, I'm like, they accidentally stumbled on that. They did not. There was no smart business plan that was executed. It was luck, dumb luck. That's what was going on. That's the part that irks me. So hats off to Boom and several of the others that have gotten their comics into Loot Crate and some of these other things. Very, very good. But now what? Keep at it. Keep pushing it. So the next time you see somebody, arguing this, don't immediately jump on, poor old Rich Johnston. I mean, he deserves our respect and sympathy. I mean, the guy is clearly not he's working with what he's got. Let's just put it that way. Um, but I think that the action take from is like, huh, looks like somebody found a clever way to get more comics into the hands of consumers. That seems smart. How are they following up on that? How are they? What's the next step? What's month 2 of this business plan? Let's get to that. Anyway, there you have it. That's the answer. Cool. Like and subscribe, as always. Hope that if you have any other questions on this, please let me know. And thanks for listening.